want to get to some breaking news in our Connect to Providence segment where Mayor Brett Smiley joins me live. We're going to talk about several issues, but right now we want to talk about an issue that's kind of developing as we speak. Mayor, always good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you for your time. I want to start off with a viewer question on Facebook. Christine Marie Maimoni says, why is there a Palestinian flag at City Hall, a country governed by a terrorist organization? How do you think the Jewish community feels about this? And Mayor, you just told us you're just back actually from Israel early this morning.
Yeah, I got in about 4 o'clock this morning. I've been up for a little while.
Okay.
Spent a week there with the Jewish Federation, and I am a member of the Jewish community. And so the Providence City Council has chosen to fly a Palestinian flag in the council chambers. I can't stop them from doing that. But I hope that at this time, we've had a year and a half worth of protests in the city. And this is obviously a very divisive topic. And so I would hope that the council and members of our community would try to use these sort of events to try to bring us together as opposed to further divide us. And I'm worried that this is going to be one more divisive moment for a community that is divided very, very deeply on this topic.
And I want to make sure that we make some clarifications, because there was some reporting that said that the council had their own flag and that you approved a flag raising on Friday morning of a Palestinian flag. Is that correct reporting?
So that's both true. So there is a flag in the council chambers right now,
okay,
which is their space, and they fly whatever flag they want to fly. The flag outside of City Hall, there's a flagpole where we do ceremonial flag raisings for a variety of communities, and I did not prevent them from flying the flag at their request on Friday as well. Listen, there are Palestinian Americans who live in Providence, and they're our community as well. And I don't agree with the viewer question. The Palestinian flag is not Hamas. The Palestinian flag is not a terrorist organization. Unfortunately, over the last year and a half, at least in Providence, there's been a lot of protests and a lot of rallies, and I've never once in one of those protests heard for those protesting to call for the return of the hostages. I've never once heard for them to try to heal our community, but rather to divide our community. Sadly, I've heard anti-Semitic chants at those protests. I've heard hate speech. And so my hope, my prayer, my call for Friday is that we change that tone. And you're right, I just got back from Israel. 24 hours ago, I was in Tel Aviv in the basement level of a parking garage because the air raid sirens were going off with a missile coming in from Yemen, from the Houthis, with the leaders of the Jewish Federation. And we were talking about this flag issue while we were in this garage, just last night. And I think if we can have the decency to try to have a civil conversation in our community, that's the least that we can do when we understand what's happening to communities in Israel and in the West Bank and in Gaza.
I want to put this in context if we can. Does the flag raising take place for all different organizations? So if I want to go and have an Irish or a German or a Vietnamese flag raised, is that what is the protocol here outside of City Hall, not in the chamber?
Yeah, no, that happens regularly throughout the year. We raise the flag for Dominican Independence Day. We raise the flag for St. Joseph, the Italian flag on St. Joseph's Day.
But what is the requirement? Does there have to be a request?
So it comes in via request or at the mayor's discretion. And if it were up to me, I wouldn't have flown this flag. But it came in from a constituent via the city council, and I had no grounds to deny it.
All right, well, let me ask you this question, because we had another viewer on Facebook that asked if there was several requests to raise a Trump flag at City Hall on his birthday, the president's, would you do it?
So one of the unfortunate lessons of this whole episode is that the city does not have a flag policy. Many communities around Rhode Island do. I've been doing a lot of work on this in the last 48 hours, and it was sort of a surprise to me that Providence has never historically adopted a flag policy, and it's something that will come as a result of this. We obviously need one.
You're opening the door, and obviously there's free speech, and everybody in the community, that is their city hall. It's not yours, right? Okay, I understand that. But you could also have people that back Hamas that say, hey, we've got a request now too. If you get a flag, we get a flag day too. And now you're just inciting more divisiveness.
The Hamas flag, which is not the Palestinian flag, in my view is clearly hate speech. It's a terrorist organization. It's no different than a swastika.
Do you regret agreeing to have this flag raised now that you're just back from Jerusalem?
I'm saddened by what I think is, unfortunately, I think this is exactly what some people wanted, which is one more instance for controversy, one more instance to try to divide and rile up our community.
Will you say, so
I'm
no
not
matter what,
change my mind.
If the police chief comes to you and says, hey, we got some big problems if this happens on Friday. You're still going to go through with it.
We have protests, peaceful, safe protests
That's
in
government,
this city.
right? That's life.
Regularly
Right.
in our city. And I have no reason to believe that Friday won't be as well. I'm disappointed that this seems like it's going to be one more divisive moment in our community. I'm disappointed that it's highly likely that at Friday's protest, no one's going to be calling for the release of the hostages, which are still suffering in tunnels inside of Gaza. And I'm disappointed in the fact that most of my constituents actually want me and the city council wrestling with this tax increase, trying to make our schools better, trying to actually run a better city. Believe it or not, this may be shocking to you, Providence doesn't have a foreign affairs department. Neither the government of Palestine or of Israel actually cares what the Providence City Council thinks about foreign affairs. And so I certainly understand people's desire to act out and state what they believe in, but we also got hired to do a job, and it's not actually this. The job we got hired to do was to run a better city,
exactly.
to educate
But you
our
have to make
kids.
these decisions. You could have easily said, you know what, executive order, I'm not going to have any more flags, but the city flag, the state flag, the American flag, that's it. But we didn't, and now we're opening the door to other particular problems. And you know, if this is a peaceful protest on Friday, I'll eat banana peels. I mean, this isn't going to happen, right?
Listen, in 3 weeks, it's going to be the start of June, which is Pride Month, and we're going to fly the Pride flag. And I think a majority of our city is very supportive of our LGBTQ community.
Well, I don't think there's much divisiveness amongst the gay community, and in fact, it's very celebrated in Providence, as opposed to the Palestinian versus
But guess what? In Providence, majority doesn't rule. We're a diverse community, and I'm sure there's people in our city that object to the pride flag. And yet, we don't go based upon what 51% or more of the city wants to happen. We're a diverse community. We respect that. The Palestinian flag is not hate speech. It's not a flag that I would have flown if it were up to me.
But it was up to you. You made the decision.
I'm not going to deny a community that wants to fly their flag.
But how many people in the community actually came? Because I read it was like 2 people plus 2 city councilors. I mean,
I'm aware
there's more than that in the studio right here.
I'm aware of 2 constituents having made the request, and then it came in via the city council.
Okay.
And I did not have legitimate grounds to deny it, and so it's going to happen.
All right. Well, let's hope it's a peaceful process, Mayor.
Let's hope so.
I agree that I appreciate they come in and talk about something on a day where it's all developing and it's breaking. I appreciate that. That means a lot.